All right, so we're working on the R62 this morning, Gleaner R62. As you can see, we kind of had a mishap. Got super hot, and the door had a bar next to it, and it shattered. So we're going to be pulling that door off, and I'm going to hopefully show you how to do that. So we're looking up here, and this is actually like this, so you don't really see it. But if you pull this panel back a little bit, you can see that there's holes, and in those holes there's either I think it's a 7/16 or ½ inch bolt that has to come out, and they go all the way down that side. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out and see what we have. Okay, so it ended up being a 3/8 inch. These are the bolts right here. It's not terribly well designed because the distance from there to there is about the distance of the bolt, or a little greater, and so the bolts drop down. I was able to use a magnet to get them out, but I also noticed that if you just simply pull this panel back, you should be able to access the bolts there too. I got one more bolt down here I got to get here in a minute. So you're not going to lose the bolts. Yeah, this is the piece. That's what it looks like. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts, looks like. And yeah. So, I don't know if you can see it right. Here's my last bolt. It was down a little lower, and so what I did was I took a screwdriver and lifted it up to my magnet, which is right here. So hopefully when I pull my magnet out, oh, didn't work that time, but I should be able to get the bolt too. Okay, so I got the door in slightly. What I did was I used a Phillips head screwdriver, and I lifted it up to that first hole and just picked it up. So that way, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but you can actually raise it to the point where you can see where the hole is and line it up, and then put your bolt in the second one. And if once I get one in, I might be able to get the rest of them in pretty easily. So that's how I'm doing it. Okay. So I was able to get one in. I did lose one again, so I have to take that back out here in a minute. But the other thing I'm doing is I'm sticking the magnet and the one below it. So hopefully if it does fall, it catches right there. I thought I should have done with that first one. Hopefully I can still get it out. Okay, I was able to get those two. I had two that actually fell down. What I ended up doing was I used the magnet. I stuck it in this hole here. And again, there's just enough of a gap on the other side if you get off the combine. You can hook a wire up there and push the bolt up to the magnet where it catches, and then gently pull it out from there. It took me a couple tries, but I got it. Word to the wise, I would actually switch to this. Get one that already has a magnet in it. That way you're not going to lose it. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. So it's just a 3/8 with a bit on the end there. So that's working much better. I'm not tightening any of these yet. I'm going to get them all in first because there is some play that has to be taken into account. I did have to use that screwdriver one more time to lift it up just a little bit higher from my first one. But I'm getting there. So, okay, I've got all bolts in. FYI, don't forget the handle goes on the inside. That was a mistake I made. You don't want to tighten the bolts up yet because you want to make sure that it has a good fit first. I've got to put this on too, and then once I get that on, I'll go ahead and pull this back over here and tighten those bolts up while the door is closed. But that's the process. So hopefully you found this video helpful. All right, if you happen to take this part off or it breaks off, you decide you want to reuse it, those 3 or 4 screws there, 4 screws, 2 Phillips and 2 of those, one on each side there. The first thing you have to do is remove the pin that goes in there, pull that handle off, then you've got a screw, and a screw. And then once that's off, you can see that there's actually some bolts that are in here that they're just spinning on. At least for me, they were just spinning on it. So you definitely have to pull that part off first. Once you get those bolts out, I think it'll be a lot easier for you. Okay, so as you can see, I did get the door back on. So what I ended up doing, well, a couple things. When you go to fit it and shut it in there, this is at such an angle that you really have to use either a really small one like that, or use a universal to get your angle. But even when I started tightening it up from the inside, I had issues with it getting caught. I did end up taking that screw out right here because it was just catching the edge. I might try to fit a little better later on. But what I really ended up doing was just simply pushing against the door with my knee, and then I tightened some of the ones down here. I'm pushing the door so I was getting both the bottom and top, and tightening a couple of them, and then just shutting it and seeing how it fit. As you see, it fits pretty well right now. It's pretty tight. So I think it worked for me.